Hi friends, welcome back to my nest. My name is Kate and today we are going to be sewing what I call a hugs and kisses table topper. Previously, I completed a quilt using a panel from Sweetwater and I realized that not everybody has a panel with hearts laying around. So I want to do something different to give you a variation. I came up with my leftovers from sewing those hugs and kisses blocks, and I came up with a table topper that looks like this. Okay, so today we are going to be doing this hugs and kisses table topper that looks like this. This, all you need, 16 pieces of 5-inch square, which is a charm pack, an accent of 2.5 inches. So this is the accent right here, will be 2.5 inches. This pieces right here are going to be 2.5 by 9.5. So the sides right here are going to be 2.5 by 20.5. And then the top part right here is going to be 2.5 by 24.5. And so don't you worry, I would type up the measurement down below so you wouldn't have to remember. You can just hit show more and then I'll type up the measurement to the cutting right down below. With that being said, let's go ahead and sew the hugs and kisses table topper right here, okay? This is what it's going to look like at the end. So I have my entire pieces right here. So I'm going to use two different color. I cut this out to 5-inch square, and I also have this as 5-inch square as well. So what I'm going to do now is use my 2.5 inches and snowball this and chain piece it. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side. So this is what we're doing first. We're going to take our 5-inch square right here and sew the corners on using the snowball method, and I am going to chain piece it. So chain pieces is when you just sew without breaking a thread. This is 2.5 inches and then this is 5 inches. So we're going to sew. Now that all the pieces are sewn onto the edges, I'm going to fold it back and then I will trim this off. I'm not going to save this part right here because it's not really much. So I'm just going to cut it. I don't measure, I just cut. So now that this is done, I'm just going to come back. So I'm going to sew on the other side, which is going to be the same exact thing that I did on this side. And I'm just going to sew the same thing and snowball it onto this side. And then after I am done, then I will press everything all at the same time because there's really no point of me pressing and then coming back and then pressing again and then coming back. I just want to do everything all at one time so it kind of will use my time wisely. I had to get up and go make myself a cup of tea because it is cold. So I'm going to put it right there. With that, I have completed this whole set. These are 8 pieces right here. So what I'm going to do now is do the same thing that I did to the first set, and I'm going to do it to this second set. Okay, so now the second set, I've already sewn this whole thing on. Remember, we're just sewing diagonal from middle left to left side, like that. We're gonna just sew a snowball effect going like that. And they're all gonna be the same throughout. So what I'm gonna do now is sew the other side right here. So now all the corners are sewn on. Again, this is 2.5, this is 5 inches. So I'm just gonna cut them and then I'll press them. So now I have the first set and the second set all completed. All we have to do is make our blocks, okay? When the block is assembled, it's going to measure out to be 9.5 inch squared on finish. When it's sewn into the block or to the quilt, it's going to measure 9 inch. So what we're going to do now is do the X. Or you guys, I'm not sure if I should use this one as the X or if I should use this one as the X. So this I'm gonna audition it and see what they both look like. I think this one is more dramatic as the X. I can already see that. I think I'm gonna use this as an O. You know what? I wish I have you guys right here in my sewing room to make my decision and put your 2 cents in. But for now, I guess I will have to make that decision by myself. But comment down below if you think I make the right decision or not, making this the X because it's more dramatic, or making this the O because it's a little bit more subtle. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go with this one for the X. So what I'm gonna do is sew this together, and we're gonna only need to make 2 X's and then 2 O's, okay? I'm just gonna sew them both at the same time. That way I can be done, since I only need 2 X's, and cut my time and have by chain piecing them. So I'm gonna cut here so I don't confuse myself. This is my first set, this is my second set. What I'm gonna do is just press. I'm not striving for perfection here. I am just going to finger press it. I think I'm gonna finger press it open, since I've already pressed these guys open here. Press them open. You notice I'm not using a lot of pin. I'm just kind of holding them in place. Fold it over, hold this in place like this, and then I'll hold this in place like this, and then I'll sew. And I'm gonna come around and sew this next one. So I'll have both blocks done at the same time, and all I have to do is press it. Flip it together and then press with my fingers, then I'll sew. So both blocks are completed and all my points match. Now, will I rip it out if the points didn't match? Nope, I will not do that, because like I said, this is a quick sewing, just something to have for Valentine's Day, like a table topper. You know what, you guys, you can make this into a pillow too, since it's, so right now I have both X's done. Next, we're going to do the O. This is O. O is a lot easier to make. They're both super easy to make, so I can't really complain. O and the X, these are the easiest blocks to make. I'm not kidding. You can, for example, if you want to make them 12.5, you'll just cut this piece as 6.5, and then you cut all the print as 6.5, and then this right here, the accent will be 3.5, and you can make it bigger. If you wanted to make it like a bigger O and a bigger X, you just have to do it that way. So I'm going to sew the the O now. Sewing O. All right, so we're going to do first set first. So we have O already right here. I'm going to flip it over and press with my fingers, open. And when I'm done completely, then I'll go over to the iron and press them open. And then we will be done. And then we can assemble our mini little tabletop. I have both set completed, and I chain pieced them so I can finish both blocks at the same time. So I'm going to just finger press, and then I will press all 4 blocks together at the same time. I have the O done, and then I have the X completed. So what we're going to do is put the O right here, and then put the X right next to it, and then I'm going to bring the X right here, and then O right like that. I think this is so pretty. This is the sashing right here. My sashing is 2.5 by 9.5, since our block is 9.5-inch square. And I'm going to put all the sashing in the middle like that, right? So we have 4 9.5-inch pieces. Okay, this is my accent, which is a 2.5-inch square. I'm going to pop it in the middle. I wanted it to be a little bit more red than both of the fabric, because I kind of want to accentuate this middle piece right here. So what I'm going to do now is sew all of them together, kind of like a 9 patch. All right, I'm going to move it like that. You can't really mess this up because there's no ups and no down. It's non-directional. All right, so I'm gonna go and sew the next set, and then we'll sew the middle piece, okay? All right, so what we're doing now is just sewing the last O on, right, like this. So this is my accent right here. So I'm going to sew, this is the middle 2.5 by 9.5. I'm going to sew them together and then we'll join them to our block. Okay, so I'm going to sew the accent piece with the middle piece. So now I have the middle piece completed. And if you don't want to do the accent, you can just cut a solid 2.5 by 20.5 white fabric or whatever fabric you choose to be your background. So what I'm doing is putting this like this. My pressing direction for this one is going this way. My pressing direction for this one is going this way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just sew on this part right here. And I think I'm going to pin over here. And so what I'm going to do is come and bring this top piece on and sew it to this, and then I'll pin. That way my accent piece and the rest of them will kind of match. And like I said, if you don't want to do an accent piece in the middle, you can just cut a solid 2.5 by 20.5, and that will give you a sashing. The reason why I'm doing the accent piece in the middle is because it gives it a little bit of an oomph, and then visual appearance looks a little bit nicer. That's why I'm doing that. Here's what our quilt is looking like right now, like this. So what I'm gonna do is take it to the ironing board and press it. Then I'll sew on the middle, the top piece, and then we'll be done. So this is all nice and pressed and complete, almost completed right now. So what we're doing is I'm gonna put the side borders on, then I'll come back and put the right in the top border on. So the side border is 2.5 by 20.5. So it's going to go on a right and left. Okay. And then the top border is going to be, it's going to be 2.5 by 24.5. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going to sew those on and I'll meet you back here. So here is our table topper all completed. Okay, this is the one we did together on video. And if you don't want to make this a table topper, it can easily be a pillow. You just have to do a backing, like sew a backing on it. It can be an envelope pillow. You just have to put the backing on it and then decide if you want to do binding on the pillow or not. I think that'd be a great idea. But for this one, I think I'm going to make it a table topper for us. I think for this second one right here, I might make it a pillow. I completed this one previously, so I might make this one a pillow and then make this one a table topper and kind of put them close to each other with a quilt. I think that would be really cute. So that's another idea for you. You know what I always say, guys? I hope that this have brought you a little bit of idea. I hope this has inspired and encouraged you to be more creative in your sewing room, and also with a tidy sewing space brings creativity. Okay, so make sure your sewing space is tidy so that way you can have a clear mind to be creative. That's what helps me in my sewing room, and I just want to inspire you and encourage you to start. Since this is January, it's a fresh start, it's a new beginning. That way all year long you will be full of ideas. Okay, so I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you all are staying warm. Down here in Texas, it is cold for us. It's 34 degrees. It's freezing. I'm from Indiana. I moved down to Texas from Indiana, so this is nothing for me, but I trust my driving. I don't trust anybody else's driving next to me, so I'm staying home too. I hope you're having a lovely day and you are staying warm. With that being said, don't forget to like this video, thumbs up, and subscribe down below. And I would love to see you in my next video. You have a great day. Bye.